years ago, as I was passing through on my way to the mountains of Colorado. Well, the prairie whispered my name, and on the breeze she said to me, "You'll be coming back someday, and this I know. I cannot say my daddy farmed these fields, and I cannot say my mama roamed these hills. Been high in the mountains, in the desert, and by the sea. Now this rolling land is gone."
Hello, my name is Ed Malloy, former mayor of Fairfield and current economic development director for Grow Fairfield. You've already heard a very compelling story that Bob Ferguson has given you about our community history over the last few decades and the great strides and successes that we have made. We're all very acutely aware of the challenges that every small community faces for its future and its growth, understanding its position in a changing and dynamic environment. But some of the elements of the Fairfield story have to do with where are the most stable elements within our community. And those come from friendships, collaborations, partnerships, and also this area of consciousness. And it's really something special and something to explore, and something that creates a feeling about the community itself in terms of its attractiveness, its livability, and its comfort for people to do things that are very creative and in sometimes very hard. The environment that's created here is supported and nurtured by the things that we all understand are essential for a community. You need a good base infrastructure. Today, a 21st century infrastructure is broadband, and we've got a great, compelling story about that. You need access to capital. You need mentors and innovators and people to work with and collaborate. And when you have that and it's a dependable part of your community, you really can rely on fulfilling your plans and goals. We have used that process, as Bob has mentioned, to great effect, and we will continue to plan and work that way. But it is also the basis for overlaying all of those very significant pieces of community. The byproduct is a happy place. We really enjoy each other's company. We enjoy each other's successes. We really look to share that with anyone who will listen, but certainly anyone that is charting the same path or considering how they can go about structuring this for their community. So it's our pleasure and our honor to be able to share Fairfield's story and invite any of your interest and inquiry in Fairfield and potentially collaborations. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about our beloved community.
Of the many Fairfields in the United States, this Fairfield is the fairest of them all. I moved here less than a year ago, bringing my family to a smaller town to slow down a little bit from Metro Atlanta and the busyness there. When we moved here, I found a community that helped me feel more at home than I ever have, and I've traveled the world and lived many places. There is a group of people here, a core group of entrepreneurs with spirit that have a real dedication to each other and to growth in this amazing community.
Hi everybody, well, I'm here with Bob. I want to just express how do I feel about our community. 20 years ago, I've been in this community, and a lot of people ask me the same question, what I'm doing in Fairfield. Well, it's pretty simple. I'm in Fairfield because I'm in love with Fairfield. Fairfield is mean everything to us. You know, this community is not a community, it's a family where we feel welcome, where we feel love, and where we feel like home. So being part of the community and having the support and be able to make a business from scratch is a lot. Now, we not only do that, we also have a Mundo Mejor, what is a non-profit organization where people, when we come and move them, they don't want something, they give to us, and everything that we make it is 100% go to poor people. In Fairfield is that kind of towns you can feel the spiritual thing, you can feel the bond.
Hi, I'm Nick Camney. I'm one of the many farmers that focuses on food in Jefferson County, and I just want to share with you some of the things that we've learned over the last 20 years as we've been so strongly desiring this food system that nourishes us, that keeps us healthy, that provides diversity and resilience. It's come through a lot of dedication. That strong desire is the first spot. People just wanting this new version was absolutely essential. And then we had to do a couple other things. And the next one was to start acting as a community. We could not get there through individuals. We've had, over the last 20 years, a number of great individuals, but they couldn't quite meet a community need because it was just them. And when their day came and it was time for them to retire, then we were left with nothing. So now we're looking at this. We're at this great moment in time where we're coming together under the Food and Farmers Co-op, and we have a network of farmers who are dedicated and passionate about growing food for our community, and they're willing to take each little step. For me, that step was my first step, no tractor, 4 acres of land, wanting to grow these big, luscious cover crops, do no-till production, and on an auction sat this no-till drill. It scared me to death to hit the button and put in the winning bid. But when I did it, everything changed. And the next step opened up, and the next step opened up, and the next step opened up. And that's how we've done it together. And then we go back and we talk with one another, and from that, we realign our desires, and we get ready for something new. We evolve out of our old selves and into something new. And with that, we take the best of the garden and the best of the 1,000-acre field that's next to me, and the best of the old and the best of the new, and we put them together, and we really change the food system.
Hi, my name is Seth Miller. I'm the president of Advocacy and Administration at Cambridge Investment Research, located in Fairfield, Iowa. Our founder actually started the company 45 years ago. He saw a need to offer broker-dealer services to financial professionals across America that were not happy with their current broker-dealer. When he decided to start the broker-dealer, he really didn't know what he was getting into. He just knew that there were multiple requests and people liked working with him. And so he started the company up. And 45 years later, we are the largest employer in Jefferson County. We have about 600 employees that come here to Fairfield at our main campus, and we have 900 employees across the United States. I think what makes Cambridge special and successful is our core values are integrity, commitment, flexibility, and kindness. Many firms may have similar integrity, commitment, but flexibility and kindness are really where we see a cultural difference. We're flexible because we try to provide a platform for all of our financial professionals to be able to do what they want to do. We compete in what we call open architecture, where we have multiple clearing firms, multiple money managers, pretty much any product that's available that's publicly traded, you can trade at Cambridge. The other one, kindness, I think is really unique in a corporate setting. Our founder, again, really believes that true relationships with people are what matters. And I think that's part of our culture here at Cambridge. We try to treat people as friends and family. And when we recruit people to either try to work at Cambridge or to join us as a financial professional, they hear great things about it, but it's almost too good to believe. So we make sure that they come visit Fairfield. We typically spend a day or maybe 2 days with them. And by the end of it, they said, I couldn't believe on the phone or what somebody was telling me was true, But after I spend a day here, I really see it and I feel it. Ultimately, everybody comes out really sensing that we do care about kindness, we do care about them. We all work together very closely here and we care about each other.
Hello, this is Kellen Gracie, Assistant Professor of Political Science at William Penn University. Formerly, I worked at GoDaddy on the Venture Forward team, now known as the Small Business Research Lab. Our job was to assess the macroeconomic impacts of microbusinesses across the world. So it was my job to create and maintain the measurements of online microbusinesses for the team and to use those measurements in assessing their impact on communities. So I'm going to briefly talk about microbusinesses, online microbusinesses, and their impact because Fairfield has an unusual story to tell as it pertains to an e-commerce presence. The lesson to be learned from Fairfield is that investments in the infrastructure and community development pieces that drive entrepreneurship, especially online entrepreneurship, can have incredible returns. But first, a couple definitions for you. A microbusiness is an entity with a discrete domain name and an active website. So it can be a company, a nonprofit, a cause, or an idea. And most of these, about 90%, employ fewer than 10 people. Microbusiness density is the number of these active web-based microbusinesses per 100 adults. And GoDaddy Small Business Research Lab measures that at a variety of different geographic levels, from cities and zip codes to CBSAs or micro and metropolitan areas, all the way up to states. A microbusiness activity index, or MAI, is a composite measure of microbusiness health that was built with the UCLA Anderson forecast. It combines infrastructure, participation, and engagement into one indexed score, which is then benchmarked to the average community result as of April 2020. Infrastructure measures readiness for online entrepreneurship. Participation measures penetration and growth of microbusinesses and entrepreneurs themselves. And engagement measures activity like traffic, website changes, and the heartbeat of the website, how frequently it changes, link connectivity, and other signals of actual online use. So if we were to sum up the Fairfield story in one easy sentence, it's that Fairfield is not just a small Iowa town with a bunch of entrepreneurs. It's one of the densest online microbusiness communities in the entire country, across the entire United States. And its digital business ecosystem is not only large, it is active, connected, and unusually well supported. Their microbusiness density in Fairfield of 58.84 is absolutely incredible. If we were to look at the Census Quick Facts 2025 population estimate of 9,220 total people in Fairfield and its under 18 share of 15.2%, this means that Fairfield has roughly 7,800 adults that are 18 or older. At 58.84 microbusinesses per 100 adults, that implies roughly 4,600 GoDaddy-defined active web entities tied to Fairfield as a back-of-envelope estimate. That doesn't mean that there's 4,600 storefronts. It doesn't mean there's 4,600 licensed local firms. But what it does mean is that Fairfield has a very unusually thick digital layer of businesses, side hustles, nonprofits, creators, ideas, and online ventures. Ultimately, the takeaway from this is that Fairfield has roughly 9,000 people in it, but it performs like a place much, much bigger than that, punching above its weight, so to speak. And this really matters because microbusinesses are often invisible in traditional economic data. They can be too small, too new, too informal, or too digital first in order to show up quickly in government statistics. So GoDaddy, partnering with UCLA, through their research has found that microbusiness entrepreneurship is associated with job creation, higher household income growth, and lower unemployment. And the research tells us that microbusiness density isn't just a vanity metric. In earlier venture forward research that I did, adding one active online microbusiness per 100 people was associated with $485 increase in household income growth and a 0.05 point reduction in unemployment. So that means more income in the community and it means lower unemployment. And the newer GoDaddy UCLA models are even more striking. Each additional everyday entrepreneur is associated with about 7.5 additional local jobs. So when Fairfield shows up with a microbusiness density of 58.84, which is 16th out of roughly 5,000 cities, that's not just a quirky tech stack. That is really evidence of a highly active, highly connected local economy. The deeper story here in Fairfield isn't just that quantity of microbusinesses. The Fairfield area also scores high on GoDaddy's Microbusiness Activity Index. So in March 2026, Fairfield's overall MAI score was 115.68 compared to a national CBSA average of 107.02. So we break that down into the components. Engagement was 118.72, meaning these websites are not just park domains. They're being used, updated, linked, visited, and connected. The infrastructure metric at 118.63 shows the local conditions, the broadband access, the human capital, the digital readiness of Fairfield are all very, very strong. And participation clocking in at 106.76 means the area is above average in the number and growth of people and microbusinesses participating in this digital economy. So to sum it all up, Fairfield, while it is a small town in Iowa, it punches well above its weight and acts like a place that's much, much bigger than their population numbers would suggest.